Today is Saturday, April 12th, 2025, and this is our weekly live stream. Last week, we gave away a Vetter Everyday Carry Tray, and the winner of that giveaway was Kevin. So thank you for subscribing. Remember, our giveaways are only available to subscribers, so if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. And I'll give it a minute or so to let other people join. Again, last week's giveaway was a Vetter Everyday Carry Tray, and the winner of that was Kevin. We have giveaways every now and then, and in order to win, you need to be a subscriber. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. This week, we're going to be giving away a Vetter holster cushion, and if you're using a Kydex holster, those are extremely comfortable. And Randall P., welcome back, my friend. Good to see you again. It was a little cold this morning, but the weather's warming up in Tennessee today, so that's a good thing. So in the news this week, one thing I wanted to talk about is, and good day to you too, AG, thanks for joining. Earlier this week in Virginia, the parents of a third grader were arrested after the third grader had a accidental discharge in his backpack. So this third grader took a loaded handgun that he found at home, put it in his backpack, and went to school, and was reaching for his backpack. It was reaching for something in his backpack in the classroom, and his finger got stuck in the trigger guard. It pulled the trigger, the gun discharged. Fortunately, none of the kids were injured. I have a real problem with this. This makes it bad for law-abiding citizens and responsible gun owners. And hello to you too, Derek. Thank you for joining. As a responsible gun owner, I mean, you're taught that the basics of any gun safety class is to make sure your firearms are secured. Now, fortunately, in that accident, nobody got killed, but I'm sorry, there's no excuse as a parent of a third grader to leave a loaded firearm where your kid could get it and take it to school. Now, it was very fortunate that this kid was just reaching into the backpack and you didn't take it out and decide to play show and tell, or the results could have been worse. Well, this is good. We have a lot more people on the call today. I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We'd appreciate that. And only subscribers are eligible for our giveaways. And hello to you, Anna. So again, this week's giveaway is the Vetter holster cushion. It's extremely comfortable. I use this on my 1911 Kydex holsters. I just find they're very uncomfortable after a long period of time inside your waistband. So this really helps a lot. And on next week's live stream, I'll announce the winner of this. And like I said earlier, Kevin was the winner of the Vetter Everyday Carry Tray. Yeah, Randall, I mean, every state has different laws regarding parent responsibility. And I'm sorry it was an accident, but that's not an accident. Leaving a loaded firearm in a house where you have young children like that, that's irresponsible. That's not an accident. I mean, that would be almost as stupid as someone having a loaded gun and pointing it at their friend and pulling the trigger and saying, "I thought it was unloaded." It's just irresponsible. Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago when I was talking about negligent discharges, negligent discharges are 100% preventable 100% of the time. And failing to adhere to gun safety is not an accident. That's negligence. But anyway, for those of you who haven't seen it, I received last week my custom-made holster for my Colt Python from Tucker Gun Leather. And I got to tell you, that is by far the most gorgeous holster I have ever seen. I did a review on it, so you may want to check it out. This is the Tucker Gun Leather holster. It's handmade. You pick the leather, you pick the stitching, you pick the concho, and it's actually reasonably priced. And I got it for under $150. I do have some exciting news. Those of you who have watched my videos, I've reviewed a lot of Mantis products. I love their products. They're great training aids. I use my Mantis products at least once or twice a week. Certainly, every time I come up here to do my videos, I practice with my Mantis regularly. Well, I can't show it to you yet because I've been instructed not to, and YouTube doesn't like when we display guns. But Mantis just came out with a new product called the Titan X. And the Titan X is a training pistol that does not shoot live ammo, but it's got a resettable trigger with a laser, and it's got Mantis X built in, so it works with Mantis X and Mantis Laser Academy. And that gives you the best of both worlds. Between Mantis X and Mantis Laser Academy, you will have the best dry fire training system you can get. And on top of that, that would satisfy a lot of the people that complain about having to rack the slide. The Mantis Titan is a resettable trigger pistol, and it's extremely reasonable. It's available with or without an optic. As soon as I get it, I should have it this week. I'm going to test it out and do a review so you guys could see it, but I'm really excited about it. I'm a huge fan of the Mantis products. I think I have every product they make. So, Captain Morgan, that's a good question. Do I have recommendation for car holsters? Yes, I find that when I'm driving, I like to carry appendix, and I use the Nate Tactical Executive holster. Nate Tactical's a division of Crossbreed, and I find when driving a car, you carrying appendix is a lot easier if you have to draw. I'm left-handed, so if I carry it on my left hip, my firearm and my left hand are jammed up against the door. So if somebody came up to the window, I'd be like this. It would be hard for me to get my gun out. If you're right-handed and you have it on the right side of your hip, your firearm and your arm are going to be jammed up against the console. So either direction is just not easy to get to, where if you carry appendix, you can easily pull it out and you can bend your body to shoot. Right? So that's my recommendation. When I drive, I always carry appendix. And I don't know what you mean with the new SCT frames. Can you elaborate there, BC? I'm going to have to boot this Iran guy. Every once in a while, we do get a dumbass. Bye-bye. There you go. This is America, brother. Okay, I see what you're saying there, BC. No, I have not seen them, but I, I mean, Palmetto State Armory, they make Glock Gen 3 compatible frames, and they're pretty good. You can get them for like $50. I have not seen the ones you referenced, but and also the new Ruger RXM that is a true Glock Gen 3 clone. They also make frames in different colors. Yeah, I was looking into a dagger, and BC. By the way, I got my RXM from a local gun store here, and I got it for $399. And let me tell you, that is a sweet gun, man. Got a lot of features to it. It's optic ready. The front sight is tritium with the rear U-notch. And I got it from Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo. And let me tell you, that was the best $399 I ever spent. It's compatible with the Glock Gen 3. It's a great gun. If you haven't seen my review, take a look at it. I even compare it to the Gen 3. Hey, Kablamo. How you doing there, brother? I subscribed to your channel the other day, too, by the way. I'm going to have to look in. Actually, I'm going to make myself a note. I'm going to have to look into the into those SCT frames. Well, we're glad you're here, Kablamo, and appreciate it. And thanks to all of you who were able to make the live stream. It's you guys that make our channel grow. So we appreciate that. East Tennessee Gunsmith, Ro the Great, welcome. Glad you could join. I have the best gunsmith, not only in East Tennessee, but in the state of Tennessee, and it's called The Gunsmith. I get most of my firearms from Jamie. He's an FFL, and his website is thegunsmith.net. And when I got my NRA instructor certification a few years ago, that's where I met him. And if Jamie can't fix your gun, it can't be fixed. And I buy most of my firearms from him. Besides the fact that his prices are reasonable, he's honest, and he does great work. So. Yep, you will like it, Randall. I'm telling you, you'll like it. It's a great gun. And I think the price of the Ruger RXM is really what sets it apart. Like the PSA dagger, I've seen them for only a couple $100, but the quality for the money, it's okay. But if you're comparing the PSA to the Ruger RXM, there's no comparison. Nope, I'm not an FFL guy. I'm thinking of getting my FFL, maybe when I retire, just to have it. I also have an optic coming to review from Zalissi. I've reviewed a few of their optics before, and they contacted me earlier this week and asked me if I would review their optic for rifles. Most of the optics I've reviewed are for pistols, so I was happy to see that they have one for a rifle. My Smith & Wesson FPC does not come with a optic on it, so it would be great to put on there. I also have a 300 blackout pistol I built and a 5.56 pistol I built that doesn't have an optic, so I'll be able to use it on that as well. And I'll let you know how they work out in my review. I also had CV Life is sending me a bore sighter kit, and I just think that that's really the only way to go. I've tried zeroing my sight at the gun range and wasted a lot of ammo. This bore sight kit accommodates everything from 177 caliber up to 50. Road the Great. I've discovered my channel. Can I give you a brief rundown of your channel? What type of content you make? Okay, I review firearms and firearm accessories, and that's the content I release. GP 100 and the 686 plus. Yeah, revolvers are king. I have the 686 Deluxe Plus. Only I got a 3-inch barrel because I do carry mine. I don't have a GP 100, but that's next. That GP 100 is like, it's built like a tank, and that'll probably be next. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think what next is going to be is when I bought my Smith & Wesson FPC, it was only available in 9mm. Now, they just came out with it in 10mm, and I was really pissed because if I would have known, I would have waited. Revolvers are king. Open carry is king. I agree with you. I live in the great state of Tennessee, and I open carry a lot. Not to be a badass, but I'm a fat guy. I don't want to fight with my clothes and my belly trying to get my gun out, and I just find it easier to open carry. I just like the fact that my gun is right there, and all of those people that complain and give you bullshit about you're going to be a target, blah blah blah. That's all nonsense. I don't buy that for a minute. First of all, whether you're carrying inside or outside the waistband, you need to have situational awareness, and you should always know what's going on around you. And the funny thing about it is, it's the people complaining about the element of surprise carrying inside the waistband, but yet they're using a Kydex holster that could be heard across the next county. So much for the surprise. And hey, Greg, welcome to the channel. Glad you could make it. What would be a good home defense gun? If I didn't own any guns, I would go with a shotgun. Road the Great, you're in Kodak. Okay. I'm right outside of Knoxville. I'm in the Morristown area, so I'm about 30 minutes from you. The best indoor range in the area, I would say you're going to want to go to Bud's Gun Shop in Sevier. That's not that far from you. They're a little expensive. I think they're like $30. And that's indoor. If you're outdoor and you don't mind the drive, I would definitely highly recommend Greene County Range in Greenville. My wife and I shoot there a lot, and you could shoot pistols, long guns, and they have a skeet range. And welcome to Greg from Mississippi. Yes, exactly. Situational awareness, and good morning, Bubba. I find you can always tell someone that's new to carrying because they have no situational awareness. They have no idea what they're doing. And to answer your question, Greg, no, I'm outside of Knoxville. Uh, Franklin, Tennessee is probably 3 hours away. But rather great. If you're in Kodak, um, I'd be happy to do a meetup one day and go shooting. We can go to Bud's gun range. And it's funny because before I moved to Tennessee, I bought a lot of guns online at Bud's. I had no idea they were in Sevier, Tennessee. And when we moved down here, we were driving around and I passed Bud's gun range. I was like shocked that that's the same Bud's. Yeah, when we moved here, I wish I would have purchased some additional acreage because I'm a NRA instructor. I'm also certified by the state of Tennessee, and every time I teach a gun class, I have to go to Greenville Range. So revolvers are king. Well, glad you were able to make it, brother. You have a blessed weekend, and hope to catch you again. Yeah, Bud's is a great place, and one thing that I find really strange is if you go into Bud's gun store and you see a gun you want and you see the price and you go to their website, it's always cheaper on their website, and the store will not give it to you at the website price. Um, they have nothing to do with the prices that are at the online website, which is too bad. So what I normally do is I'll order it from Bud's online. They have free shipping to the store, and then I go to the store and pick it up. But like, I don't know, when it comes to guns, I'm like a big baby. When I want it now. I don't want to wait 2 weeks. So, and welcome, Jordan. You're in Connecticut. How are the gun laws out there? Not as friendly as down south. Yeah, well, to answer your question there, Greg, we have a Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo that opened in Knoxville, and they're not that far from me. Um, and Nick, you're just a dumbass. Uh, but their prices are pretty good, and it's a gigantic store. I also go to grabagun.com. Laws in Tennessee, Jordan, are awesome. We pretty much have no gun laws. You don't need a stinking permit to carry. You can open carry, you can conceal carry. There's no magazine restrictions. We don't even go through the damn NIC system. Um, Tennessee has its own tick system. You're in and out of there in 2 minutes. So God bless America. I love the state of Tennessee. My thoughts on PSA. Well, PSA they have good products um, for the money. They're not the greatest products, but they're not bad as far as their guns go. But one thing I will say is that their parts are phenomenal. My AR-15s, I use Palmetto State Competition Trigger. It's a one-piece drop-in trigger, and it is by far the best you can buy for the money. It's a great price. Their guns, they're okay, and I'm betting that they don't actually make them because I was looking at the PSA Admirals 45 ACPs, and they're actually made for PSA by Rock Island. And Rock Island's not bad. I mean, they're in the Philippines, but I mean, for the money, it's a decent gun. But I learned over the years, um, buy once, cry once. I'd rather buy a good quality gun than to have a bunch of junk guns just to say I have them. Um, every once in a while, I would trade in some of my lower quality guns and get something better. That's what I did when I got my Colt government model. But now I'm at the point where I don't really have any guns I'm willing to part with anymore. So uh, it just takes me a little longer to buy them now because I have no guns to trade in. Um, However, as the channel grows and the more subscribers I get and the more viewers I get, the more revenue I will receive, and then it'll allow me to purchase more firearms and accessories to review for you guys. Yeah, the dagger is a good product, Greg. I agree with you for the money, but it's not that much cheaper than the Ruger RXM. And I tell you, the Ruger RXM is by far a much more superior gun. And thanks for subscribing, Greg. I appreciate that. CZ pistols are great. I have a CZ 45 ACP. I reviewed the CZ Shadow. I mean, those things are built like tanks. The CZ, I believe it's the P10. It's available in 9mm and 45 ACP. I got it in 45 ACP. My only regret is that it's impossible to find a holster for it, especially being left-handed. And Eagle King, thank you for joining. Greetings to you too. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. And Jordan, yeah, they make that CZ competition model. I think I actually reviewed that. Any of the CZ guns are great. And if you, okay, so Jordan, you're looking to get a Taurus G3 for your first gun. Here's my opinion, and it's just an opinion. You're going to pay about $250 for the Taurus G3. And if you want it optic ready, then you got to buy the Toro. And now you're up to almost $300. Okay. Well, what I would do, I would just save the extra $100. And I personally, I would go with the Ruger RXM. I think for the money, it's a hell of a lot of gun. It's optic ready. It's compatible with the Glock Gen 3. So that would be my recommendation. Hey, Bubba. Glad to see another left-hander. That's awesome. Not many of us out there. And I got to tell you, it's a bitch finding holsters for left-handed people. That's for sure. Yes, Jordan. Yes, the Taurus is under 400. Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. You can't compare the Taurus to the Ruger RXM. You just can't. The Ruger RXM is by far a much better gun than a Taurus. And you know, the problem with Taurus is that they're hit or miss, right? You get some good ones, you get some bad ones. I haven't had any bad ones, and unfortunately Taurus has a bad rap because they turned out a lot of shit in Brazil during the 80s, and their customer support is not the greatest. And welcome, Thomas. Thanks for joining. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. I'd appreciate that. And Jordan, trying to buy a gun up here that cheap. First of all, when I'm looking at a firearm, I'll be honest with you, cheap is not on my radar. I look for a gun that's comfortable, that shoots well. I don't ever say, you know, let me go find the cheapest gun I can find to save my life. I'd get the best you could afford. Yes, the RXM is way better, and it is compatible with the Glock Gen 3, so you have, you know, thousands of aftermarket accessories available. And because it is Glock compatible and it does come with PMags, those are really cheap. If you buy the Taurus, those Taurus steel magazines are fairly expensive. The Ruger Security 9 Compact is ideal for concealed carry. You can't go wrong with a Ruger. They're built like a tank. They're made in the USA. It's a great gun. I've never seen a Ruger that had a horrible build. They're good value for the money, so yes. I would just not go to any caliber lower than 9mm. I know a lot of people like the 380s, but not a fan on that for personal defense. And that's what I'm saying, Randall. You know, go with the RXM. Believe me, for the extra $100 and something, you'll thank yourself, because even though the Taurus comes with a lifetime warranty, you're going to need it, because sometimes you get a bad one, and you know, if you're going to carry a gun for personal defense, you want one that you're going to have confidence in. You can't go wrong with the Ruger. Well, yeah, yes and no there, Randall. I mean, I have some expensive guns, and uh, I do view them as what they're worth. But to me, all my guns are tools. I don't have any safe queens. Um, Even my new $1,500 Python, I carried it last week. At some point, I do carry every gun I have. And welcome, Thomas. Good for you at 70. I'm not far behind you. And the Equalizer is an awesome gun uh, for older people or people that have arthritis and don't have the hand strength. It shoots well. Um, you know, people view it as a ladies' gun. It's not a ladies' gun. The Smith & Wesson Equalizer is a great gun for everyone. And I like that it's got an internal hammer and it's not striker fired. I agree with you, Greg. One thing I don't like about the gender bullshit is that um, I bought a Walther PDP F series. And welcome, Barbara. And the F series is, according to Walther, designed for females. And that's just the real turnoff that they had to start gendering up shit, because the PDP-F series is made for people with smaller hands, not just women. And the trigger reach is closer, and it's a great gun for everyone. I just think that when they gendered it up like that, they turned a lot of people off by making them feel that it's a girly gun. And I just hate when they do that. There's no such thing as a girl gun. And you know, my wife has the Equalizer and she shoots it very well and it works perfectly for her. But it's not because it's a woman's gun. The easy technology is a very clever idea, and it's kudos to Smith and Wesson for realizing that everyone can't rack the slide. I mean, I'm getting older. There's probably going to come a time where I'm not going to be able to rack the slide. Yes, it's about what you can shoot good with. Well, if someone was buying a new gun, my first um, comment is go to a gun range, rent a gun, and shoot it. Okay? Because your buddy may have a gun that you think is the coolest thing, right? And I've done it. I've gone to a gun store and I saw a firearm that I thought was really cool. I bought it. I took it to the range and I hated it, and I wound up getting rid of it in a week. So, and also, what one person likes and what works well for one may not work well for another. I mean, I love the Sig Sauers. Some people don't like them. It all comes down to shot placement and what you could shoot with. Having an expensive gun and you can't shoot for shit doesn't really matter. Kwani Sema, I wish they would increase the capacity for the equalizer. I understand why they did it though. The reason that the equalizer didn't increase the capacity is for concealability, right? Contrary to what people think, the concealability and your firearm printing has nothing to do with the length of the barrel. It's got to do with the grip. So obviously, if you have a grip that holds 17 or 19 rounds, the grip is going to be longer. It's going to protrude out and it's going to print more. So that's why Smith & Wesson gave you a 10, 12, and 15 round magazine. You can use an extended magazine, but you're going to print, and that defeats the whole purpose of a concealed carry gun. All right, to answer your question, Greg, I'm glad you brought that up. To be honest with you, I've been thinking of the 5.7 pistol as well. Ruger has one now, and that's also on sale for like $3.99. And I've been seriously thinking of getting one only because that's one of the few calibers I don't have. I don't have a 5.7. However, for a defensive round, I still think the 9mm is better. The 5.7 has got less recoil, which will give you better shot placement, but the 9mm is going to penetrate more because it travels faster. It's got higher muzzle velocity than the 5.7. But, a 5.7 is easier to shoot because it doesn't recoil as much. And because it doesn't recoil as much, that will give you better follow-up shots. Yes, the equalizer comes with 3 mags. It comes with a 10, 12, and 15 round magazine. Well, yeah, and stopping power, that's a relative term too. I mean, I don't really want to get into caliber wars pissing match, but, I was never a fan of the 9mm, but I got to say, over the past 10 years, the 9mm cartridge has really improved now that they have 147 grain. 147 grain 9mm penetrates now almost as much as a 40 caliber without the heavy recoil. But again, it's all about shot placement. If you have good shot placement, a 22 caliber will work. And if you don't have good shot placement, it doesn't matter what you carry. For me, my caliber of choice for carrying is 10mm and 45 ACP. And that's just because when I started to learn how to shoot as a kid, my dad taught me on a 357 Magnum and a 45 Long Colt. So I've been exposed to the big bore calibers. Not that there's anything wrong with the 9mm. Yep, there you go, Thomas. That everybody forgets about shot placement. Okay, so while we're on the shot placement, that's where the caliber comes in. All right, with a 9mm, because the recoil is so low, you can pop off 4 or 5 rounds in 9mm and pretty much keep them all on target. When you're shooting a 45 ACP or a 10mm and you have a recoil like this, every time you have to bring it back down, you're resighting it. So that will affect shot placement. And even though I like the 10 millimeter better, I do shoot the 9 millimeter better because I can fire more subsequent shots. I love the 10 millimeter, but I'm counting on my skills that the first shot's going to count. Follow-up shots on the 10 millimeter are not going to be as accurate as they are on the 9. Glock 19. All right, Grace, welcome. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Glock 19. You know what? I have a Glock 19, but to be honest with you, when I got the Glock 19X, I just think that's the best Glock ever produced. The Glock 19X gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you the full-size frame of the Glock 17, so you have more to hold on to, and it gives you the compact slide of the Glock 19, and it also accommodates 19 rounds. It's an awesome gun. And I have them both, and I won't part with either one. But if I had to pick, I'd go with the 19X all day. And to answer your question, Greg, what 10 millimeter I carry? I carry the SIG P320 X10 Comp. That's the 10 millimeter I carry. However, it's not my favorite 10 millimeter. My favorite 10 millimeter is the Glock 20. I love that gun. It's just a full-size duty gun, and it's enormous. That you put that in a Kydex holster, that is like walking around with a 2x4 in your pants. But the Glock 20 is by far the best and most accurate 10 millimeter I've ever shot. My wife shoots it. My wife shoots that very well. It handles great. 19X or G45? I would go with the 19X there, Kwame. I'm just a huge fan of the 19X. I also like that the 19X is only available in Coyote. It's the only gun that was not produced with a black finish. And just to give you a real quick background, the Glock 19X was originally designed for the military to replace the Beretta 92. And the Sig Sauer P320 beat out the Glock 19X, and Sig Sauer was awarded the contract. So the Glock decided to make the 19X available to the public. The FN 510 is a great gun. FNs are a little pricey for some people, but it is a great gun. I do not own one, only because it's just never been on my radar. Glock 43 or 19. If you're asking me about Glock 43 or 19X, I'd go with the 19X. The 43X or the 19, it's a toss-up. Converts Media, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe. I'd appreciate that. I'm glad you asked me that question there. What do I think of the Springfield Echelon? No one's asked me that before, and I'm surprised. That Echelon is probably one of my favorite guns. When I bought it, it only was available in the duty size. It was not available in compact, which is available now. But, man, that is a sweet gun. And the nice thing about it is I love their pin configuration for the optic mounting. You take the plate off, and they give you a whole bunch of pins, and it'll accommodate up to 43 different optic footprints. And Kwame, about the P320 going off, that's, I got to tell you, that's just bullshit. You watch all of those YouTube videos, I would say 99.9% of them are user error. They had a problem with the P320 a couple of years ago. It's been addressed and it's been fixed. And I can tell you, I carry a P320 appendix, and I still have both of my nuts. My nuts didn't get blown off. My SIGs have not gone off by themselves. I would bet you most of those accidents are either holstering or unholstering the firearm with the improper holster or operator error. I would move to a constitutional carry state, to be honest with you. Converts. That's just my opinion. I mean, urban. Yeah, and I'm pleased to say that, it just irks the shit out of me when I go to gun forums and I keep seeing people saying, the P320 goes off by itself. Nothing goes off by itself. It's totally false. And the people that are making these comments, I would bet you they don't own a P320. They don't carry a P320. They're just regurgitating bullshit that they read on the internet. Like I said, I carry a P320. I carry it in 9mm. I carry it in 45. I carry it in 10. And I carry an appendix. And like I said, it's never gone off, and I still got both of my nuts. I don't know what's going on in Nevada, but Colorado is really getting bad for gun rights. Yeah, Wyoming is a very gun-friendly state, just like Tennessee. I'm trying to read Mobinic's comment. Let's see. Yes, you may ask your question. It's okay if it's controversial. I mean, this live stream is for you guys. As long as it's gun related, you can ask it. Any firearm related questions can be asked. I don't care if they're controversial. And I try not to get political, but every once in a while we get a liberal on here that makes a dumbass comment about guns or gun laws, and then it forces me to get political. But I try not to make a habit of it. I'm not sure, I'm not sure about the X5, but the thing about the SIG P320 is it's almost impossible to compare apples to apples. If you go to SIG's website, there's probably 100 different variations of the 320. They got the 320, they got the Legion, they got the compact, they got the full size, they got the M18, blah, blah, blah. It's almost impossible to compare different models of SIGs because there's so many of them. So when you go into a gun store, they may not even have every model. So it's hard to compare one to the other. All right, so here's your question. What are my thoughts on people with mental health conditions, similar to schizophrenia, that are medicated with a history of nonviolent behavior, owning firearms for home defense? Okay. This is just my opinion. If people don't have a history of violence, I personally don't have a problem with them owning a firearm. And we discussed this topic a few weeks ago about, one of the rules of gun safety is to make sure that your firearms are secured. And we're so worried about kids and unauthorized users getting to them. What happens in the case where you have an older parent that's got dementia or Alzheimer's that has guns all over the house? Never even think about that. If the Glock ban came to your state, as well as a 10-round mag restriction, what would be your other options for everyday carry? Well, I'll be honest with you, I live in the great state of Tennessee. I don't ever see that happening. Matter of fact, our gun laws are getting less strict and more strict. It's not like California. In California, you're not even allowed to own a Glock 19 Gen 5. And it doesn't even have more capacity than the Gen 3. It's just that California has a specific list of firearms and they never update it. But if you're going to go with a 10 round mag, honestly, I think the Smith & Wesson Equalizer is a great choice. It comes with a 10, 12, and 15 round magazine. If there was a 10 round mag restriction, I like the Smith & Wesson Equalizer. And Practical Rhino, thanks for joining. Also, for everyone out here, I appreciate you all. I'm sure you all have a lot of other things you could be doing. So I'm thankful that you're spending your afternoon with me. It means a lot to me. I do this for you guys, and I appreciate the following and the support. My thoughts on the new Canik Prime. I have not seen the Canik Prime, but I do like the Caniks. They're great guns. I have the Canik TP9 SC Elite. If you look at the Canik, it's very similar looking to Walther, and my understanding is that they share technologies, and that's why. But it's a great gun for the money. And Amish Albuquerque, thanks for joining. And to answer your question, 22 long rifle or 32 ACP for defense, I would say neither. For home defense, I wouldn't go with anything less than a 380, preferably a 9. 22 or 32 for home defense, you're going to just piss them off. Especially under duress. You're not going to shoot as well as you are at the range. You're not going to get the deep penetration that you're going to get with a 9mm. Deep penetration is a deep wound. It means you're going to bleed more. Never Comfortable. Welcome to our stream. Thank you for joining. And Greg, I will answer your question next. Never Comfortable. Do I like iron sights or red dots better? Well, okay. It's a two-part question, okay? You need to know how to shoot with iron sights, right? I prefer iron. I'm old school. And if you're going to get a red dot, you better know how to shoot irons because, when the shit hits the fan and, your battery dies on your red dot, you better know how to shoot with irons. But a red dot does give you quicker target acquisition, and after some training, you will be able to lock on your target quicker. I like to co-witness my red dot with my sights. So to answer your question, I like them both, but I would prefer that you get good with your irons first. All right, Greg. My top 3 guns for hit shit in the fan. Okay. Pistol. For a pistol, I am going to go with my Glock 19X. It is a 9mm, but, the shit hitting the fan, you're going to shoot rapidly, so you're going to want to be able to have follow-up shots. Second, I have a Mossberg 500 Persuader shotgun, and that would be my second choice. And third, I have an AR-15 pistol. That would be my third choice. Probably my last choice because, shooting an AR pistol with a short barrel like that, everyone in the house will be deaf and you'll be blinded. And Thomas, welcome. I have a Glock 30 and a Glock 29. And yes, the Glock 30S is what I have. It's an awesome gun. It conceals very well. Not everybody is a fan of 45 ACP. I happen to love it. Like I said earlier, my choice of carry is 10mm and then 45 ACP. I also have the Glock 21. The Glock 30 recoil is surprisingly very little. Um, I'm not sure if I put it side by side with my Colt government model that it lines up quicker, but it does not have a lot of recoil. Yeah, I have a blast on my AR pistol too, Greg. I also built a 300 blackout pistol, but I got to tell you, if you had to use an AR pistol in the house, it's loud and it's like a flamethrower. And thanks for subscribing, Daniel. I appreciate that. Appreciate all you guys. Um, our channel is growing, and it's thanks to you guys for helping us. My goal is to have 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Um, I'd like everyone to view as many of our videos as possible because when we get monetized, that's what gives us the money that we use to pay for our firearms and accessories. I can't afford to buy guns out of my own pocket to do this, so everything we buy is thanks to you guys, and we appreciate that. Yes, the subsonic ammo for home defense, but if you're shooting 5.56 with a short barrel like a 7.5-inch barrel, it's still going to be loud and blinding indoors. But so is everything. I mean, even shotgun's going to be loud indoors. And I guess one of the reasons I would prefer the 9mm indoors or 45 ACP with hollow points. As much as I like the 10mm, I do wonder or worry sometimes about over penetration with the 10mm, even with hollow points. 45 hollow points are great because 45 is a slow moving bullet anyway. PR Tactical, the Medi series, they're all great quality guns, and for what you didn't hear before, I own the Canik TP9 SC Elite. Caniks are well-made guns. They look and feel like Walther, and like I said earlier, my understanding is that they share technology with Walther, and that's why they look so similar. And they're just very good quality guns. They're made in Turkey. And we have about 5 minutes to go here. Dropping the slide on a 1911 worth an empty chamber, what's your opinion? Does it actually damage the gun? The answer is no. You can drop a 1911 slide on an empty chamber. The firing pin's not striking anything when you do that. I just don't like when I see people dropping the slide on any gun, but you're not going to hurt a 1911 by doing that. Don't know why you would, but it's not going to damage the gun. As I stated earlier, last week we gave away a Vetter Everyday Carry tray, and the winner was Kevin. This week we're giving away a Vetter holster cushion. It's extremely comfortable. I use this on my 1911 holster, and I will announce the winner next week. Like I said, Rhino, I don't own many Caniks, but from the experience I do have, they really are good quality guns. And how to enter, Greg? I will randomly pick a person that left the most comments today and that was the most active on our chat. Yep, the Canik triggers are smooth. And I got to tell you, I own a lot of Glocks, and I love my Glocks, but the triggers on the Glocks suck, just like their shitty plastic sights. And the first thing I do when I get a Glock is get rid of those plastic sights and put iron sights. Actually, I put on night sights, but they're still iron sights. And Brendan, thanks to you too. You have a good day. Thank you for joining. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to be ending this stream in about 5 minutes. So if there's anything you guys want to discuss or have any comments you want to make, please leave them now because we will be ending it. We try to keep this to an hour. And Datus, what's up to you too, dude? Again, for all you people who are watching this, thanks for joining. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Watch as many of our videos, share our videos, like our videos, leave comments. When you leave comments, that makes our videos get pushed out to more people, which gives us more revenue to purchase more firearms and accessories to review to you guys. 12 gauge or 20, I would go with a 12 gauge for home defense. And thanks, Thomas. I really appreciate that. Sometimes, you get a lot of negativity and I get flamed in comments. So I appreciate you, brother. It's good to get a positive comment every now and then. We take the good and the bad, but it's very rare that you get someone that compliments you. 19X or G45? 19X all day. I'm telling you, that 19X I think is the best Glock that was ever made. I agree, AG. I don't think Canik has made a bad gun. I don't think there's any Canik out there you can go wrong with. And I know it's 1 o'clock, but I'm going to give this 5 more minutes because people are leaving questions, and then we will end the call. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the comments after this stream ends, and the person that I'm going to randomly pick someone out of the comments. So for people that join our live stream and you don't comment, you're pretty much eliminating your chances of winning a giveaway. And if you're not subscribed, you're also eliminating your chances. So, I can see the number of people on the live stream, but the only way I know who's actually here is when you leave a comment. So that's the only way I know who's here. So for those who are leaving comments, I appreciate it. Yeah, 10 millimeter is awesome. It is my favorite cartridge. It's actually more popular now than it was 10 years ago. And for the life of me, I just don't see the logic of why anyone would buy a 40 caliber. Even if you don't shoot 10 millimeter out of it, if you buy a 10 millimeter, you could still shoot 40 cal out of it. It's like getting 2 guns in one. It's like buying a 357 Magnum and shooting 38s out of it. It's good to know if you want the extra power, it's there. And I'm glad to answer your question there. Never comfortable. That's what I'm here for. I'm an old fat guy. I've been, in the firearm business for, 40 something years. So I did learn a thing or two. So I'm extremely happy when there's something I could do to help someone. Instead of putting a red dot. No, I don't agree with using a laser. First of all, you don't want your opponent to see the laser, right? When you have a red dot, they don't see the dot. I mean, if you're going to point a laser, you might as well point a flashlight at them, and you're just giving your position away. Yes, I'm in the great state of Tennessee. And I don't mind you asking. I moved to Tennessee 6 years ago. My wife and I came here because they destroyed New Jersey, and um, Tennessee is an awesome state to live in, and the gun laws are even better. Memphis, on the other, Memphis is a shithole. I'll be honest with you. I mean, when they give the crime statistics for Tennessee, Memphis skews uh, the whole state. Memphis is really just a shithole. Yes, we are from New Jersey. That's where we're originally from. But like I said, we moved to the great state of Tennessee 6 years ago, and um, to me, this is home. I feel like I've lived here my whole life. Wish we would have done this a long time ago, but we're here now, and that's all that counts. Um, but anyway, getting back to the question. So when you see the crime rate in Tennessee, it's extremely low. However, being Memphis is a shithole, Memphis and Nashville just skew the numbers. But out here in East Tennessee, outside of Knoxville, really, really low. Really, really low crime. And you never hear of like carjackings out here. And you got to be a real dumbass to break in someone's house in Tennessee, because everybody owns a gun here, and you will get shot. I mean, there's good and bad in every state. Believe me, there were a lot of bad areas in New Jersey too. But in New Jersey, we couldn't carry a firearm, so um, you know, it really puts you at a disadvantage when the bad guys can carry and you can't. All right, guys, it's 1:05. I'm going to end this live stream. Again, thank you all so much for joining. Really appreciate that. We love you all. Thanks for supporting us. Again, if you haven't done so, subscribe, watch our videos, share our channel, like them, leave comments. Everything helps. The more the channel grows, the more revenue we get, and the more firearms and accessories I can review for you guys. So thank you all. Have a blessed day. We'll be doing this again next week, and next week I will announce the winner of the Better Holster Cushion. Thanks for watching.